Hey everybody, Dr. Ben, Iron RX Physical Therapy here. I want to show you kind of a hamstring mobility exercise that you can do, because when we spend a lot of the day sitting at work, on the couch, whatever it may be, those hamstrings can get a little bit tight and we just need to mobilize them, loosen them up before we get to go out there and do workouts or other activities, because those hamstrings can really pull on our pelvis and affect the low back. So a lot of times you end up with tight hamstrings and low back problems. So this is something to try if you do have any sort of low back pain, or you just feel real stiff and real tight through the low back and the hamstring. So this is just called the hamstring hinge walk. So basically the position you're going to be in is you're going to kind of prop one foot on the heel out in front of you, and what we're going to do is bend at the waist. So I don't want to just lean over. If we do this, like, I can get all the way to my toe and I barely feel a stretch. But if I stay tall through my chest and really hinge at the hips, this is as far as I can go, and I get a real good stretch through that hamstring. So that's because we're affecting the position of that pelvis. So if we stand here, rock our pelvis forward, we're actually putting that hamstring in a little bit of a stretch position versus here. This is what happens when we bend over. Our pelvis rotates back, and I just kind of cheat around that hamstring, get all the way to the floor, but I'm using a lot of my low back and my pelvis to do so, not necessarily getting the stretch through the hamstring. So make sure when you're doing this, chest tall, hinging at the hips. So I want you thinking about you're pivoting around that pelvis and keeping it in a relatively stable position, so you have a nice flat back here. If I go to lose that position, my back's going to round and I'm not going to get as good of a stretch. So the whole thing, the walking portion of it's going to look like this. Bring that foot out. It's not very far in front of the other one, and you're just going to hinge down, get a good little stretch, come up, step with the other one, good little stretch there, hinging at the hips, chest high, focusing on what I'm feeling through these hamstrings so I get them kind of mobilized and stretched out. Just a little bit more of an active way to work the hamstrings rather than just doing a static stretch. So if you're doing this one, do it maybe a couple sets of 25 feet, 50 feet, something like that. Just nice and easy. Any sort of stretches or mobility stuff, if it's hurting, then we're losing the benefit of it. So we want a little bit of discomfort, but never really want pain, because our body doesn't react well to pain. As we all know, it kind of tightens up and protects when we get in that pain state. So if we can create that discomfort and create that long-term change, that's really what we're looking for. So give these hamstring hinge walks a try. Hopefully it helps loosen up the hamstrings before activity. Hopefully it helps improve a little bit of low back pain too, if you have that going on. So give it a try. Like I said, a couple sets of 25 feet, 50 feet, something like that, and let me know how it works.